My name is Kaylee, and in this video we are going to take a look into the recently discovered Homo erectus fossils that were discovered during dredging operations in the Madura Strait in Indonesia, an area that used to be part of Sundaland, a landmass similar to Doggerland, similar in the sense that part of it now lies under the seabed. And yeah, I will be making a video on Sundaland in the very near future. This video is sponsored by Opera, but as always, more on the sponsor later in the video. The Madura Strait is located between the Indonesian islands of Java and Madura. It's also often referred to as the Surabaya Strait, although this name is not accepted in the official cartography. So there was a large construction project in the Madura Strait from 2014 until 2015, and that's when this latest fossil discovery was actually uncovered. Contractors pulled around 5 million cubic meters, which equates to 177 million cubic feet, of sand and sandstone from the seabed near the port city of Surabaya on the island of Java to create an artificial island. The contractors used a trailing suction hopper dredger to remove the sediment. This is a ship that drags a steel structure along the seabed, breaking up the sediment and mixing it up with water. A suction pipe then hovers up the sediment, and this process, called dredging, can negatively impact marine life. But the amount of damage varies depending on the location and the species involved. As you can imagine, invertebrates, eggs, and larvae are most vulnerable to this practice. But the contractors and the researchers, and thus the dredging itself, was subject to environmental impact assessment and supervision under Indonesian legislation, as Harold Berghuis, a researcher studying Homo erectus at the Leiden University in the Netherlands, told Life Science. Hey everyone, if you're not using Opera yet, you're missing out. It's packed with awesome features that make browsing faster, smoother, and just way more fun. Let me show you. Ever wish you had a quick way to get answers? Just hit Ctrl and / to type your question, and Aria's got you. Simple. And yeah, it can even generate images. Let's try something fun. Oh, and if you ever come across an image and want to know more, just use image recognition in the sidebar. Super handy. We all have a million tabs open, right? Opera makes it easy with tabbed islands. It automatically groups tabs so you don't lose track. Or if you're like me, you can expand and collapse them as needed. And check this out. Tab traces helps you see which tabs you used last with a subtle underline. The darker the line, the more recent. No more guessing where you left off. Now, if you love listening to music while browsing, you're gonna love this. Opera's floating music player works with Spotify, YouTube Music, and more. And the best part, you can move it anywhere, even outside the browser. Are you bored of the same old browser look? Opera has some beautiful themes. Aurora and Midsommar are my favorites. Instant vibe change. And for all the multitaskers out there, just drag one tab next to another and boom, split screen. No extra steps, just pure convenience. So yeah, Opera isn't just another browser. It's packed with cool stuff to make life easier. Give it a try by clicking the link in the description down below and let me know what you think. So the research of the fossils was carried out by researchers from the Leiden University in the Netherlands, in collaboration with a team of specialists from Indonesia, Australia, Germany, and Japan. So during the dredging operations in the Madura Strait, the archaeologists discovered 6,372 fossilized remains belonging to 36 different vertebrate species, including Komodo dragons, turtles, sharks, elephants, and Homo erectus. This is actually the first discovery of fossils from the seabed between these two Indonesian islands, the islands being Java and Madura. The hovered up sediment was discharged at a land reclamation site to create 100 hectares, which equates to 250 acres, sandy island. Berghuis was able to access the site as a geotechnical consultant for the port of Surabaya. And he spent many weeks searching for fossils on his hands and knees. Of course, as you can imagine, he dreamed of finding a hominin fossil during this time. But it wasn't until the very last day that he was out there collecting fossils that he spotted one. So he told Life Science that it was already getting dark and he was sitting down to enjoy the sunset. And then right beside him, he noticed a fossil that reminded him so much of the only Dutch Neanderthal, which is a brow bone that you can see here of a Neanderthal and a very well-known fossil in the Netherlands that was dredged from the North Sea. So he took the fossil, a skull fragment, to his hotel room and compared it to images of this brow bone of the Dutch Neanderthal known as Krijn. We later named him, you know? A Dutch Neanderthal was the only one, he needed a name. It's fine. Its pronounced brow ridge was similar to Neanderthals and other ancient humans, and later on Berghuis and his colleagues determined that the skull fragment belonged to an adult or adolescent Homo erectus. So the team also identified another Homo erectus skull fragment in the fossils that Berghuis had collected on the sandy island. Based on the thickness of this second skull fragment, the team determined that this individual had not yet reached adulthood. As you can imagine, the researchers were not able to determine how these Homo erectus individuals died. You know, you only have 2 fragments, 2 individuals. It's not much to go on. So most of you know that Homo erectus fossils have been found in the past on the island of Java in Indonesia, and the most famous being the skulls found at the Trinil, Sangiran and Gadong sites. For a long time, researchers were under the impression that Homo erectus had lived in isolation for a long time on the island of Java. But this new discovery actually shows that the Javanese Homo erectus dispersed over the surrounding lowlands of the ancient landmass of Sundaland during periods when the sea level was lower. Again, Sundaland is mostly now below water. What's above water is like Indonesia and all its islands. Just like Doggerland with like England, Scotland, Ireland and Northwest Europe. So researchers uncovered that it seems that Homo erectus spread along the major rivers in the area of Sundaland, where they had water, shellfish, fish, edible plants, seeds and fruit all year round. We had already found evidence of Homo erectus collecting river shells in the past, but among the new finds from the dredging operations, the researchers have now discovered cut marks on the bones of water turtles and large numbers of broken bovid bones, which point to hunting and consumption of bone marrow. So the cut marks found on the turtles are the earliest evidence of a human species hunting these water turtles in Southeast Asia. It also seems that Homo erectus as well as other human species in the area hunted cow-like bovids in their prime, which is something the Indonesian Homo erectus was actually not known for. Because this hunting strategy is mostly associated with more modern humans on the Asian mainland. So this raises the possibility that the newly discovered Homo erectus population learned and copied this hunting strategy from other human relatives who came to live in this area. But there is of course the possibility that this Homo erectus population developed this hunting strategy independently. It's unclear if this is the result of a kind of cultural exchange between different human species in this area. So if I've got you intrigued and you want to learn more about Homo erectus, the species, I actually recently created a video with updated information about this enigmatic species that paved the way for all other human species that once roamed the earth, including, you know, our own species. We all know that Homo erectus played quite the important part in our own evolutionary history. They emerged a little over 2 million years ago, and they were the first species to migrate out of Africa, migrating all the way to the modern-day islands in Indonesia. They lived in this area of Indonesia for hundreds of thousands of years until they were slowly getting replaced by more modern species. Like for instance, the Neanderthals and the Denisovans around 350,000 years ago on the Asian mainland. But Homo erectus seems to have survived on the island of Java until around 117,000 to 108,000 years ago, when they eventually went extinct. Our own species of Homo sapiens didn't actually reach Southeast Asia or the Indonesian islands until around 77,000 years ago, which means that Homo erectus was already extinct by at least 30,000 years. So the fossil collection that Berghuis and his colleagues found is housed in the Geological Museum in Bandung in Indonesia, and the museum is planning an exhibition at this museum, and possibly temporary exhibitions at other locations. So what do you think of this latest discovery of two Homo erectus skull fragments dating to around 140,000 years ago, give or take? And yeah, they were discovered in Indonesia at the Madura Strait, and I want to know what you think about this new discovery. If you enjoyed watching, then don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more of these kind of videos, and click that bell icon if you want to be notified whenever I upload. If you haven't seen my previous videos yet, then click the card in the upper right corner, or click one of the links in the description down below, or click a video in the end card. I would also like to say a massive thank you to my patrons and my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting me. I will see you in the next video, and yeah, no news yet on my health situation. It'll probably be until around mid-June before I know anything, and as long as I don't know anything, I can't tell you anything. So yeah, let's stay stressed. See you in the next one.